Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of videos about games and the people who played them. And now, here's your host, Jim Reed.
So I walk into my FLGS a couple of weeks ago, and I'm browsing around. The owner comes up to me and he says, "Hey, have you checked out that new AEG game?" I said, "Yeah, the Adventurers picked it up here a couple of weeks ago." He says, No. I said, "Oh, you mean Thunderstone? Yeah, just got it. Having a lot of fun with it." He says, "No, the other one just got it in stock. It's a Reiner Knizia title. It's dripping in theme. It's about mice on a cruise boat, and you're trying to save them before they drown." "What's that called?" I said. Abandoned Ship. Let's check it out. Okay, so let's start with the standard procedure. As I said, the game is called Abandoned Ship. It's a Reiner Knizia game. It's a 3 to 7 players, 30-minute running time. It says ages 10 and up. My 5-year-old daughter loves this game, and she can play it with strategy. So I will say that. Also, I think the price is around 40 bucks. Now I'm going to show you the coolest thing about the game. Well, one of the coolest components, and one things I dislike about the game. This is the board. This is the ship. See that? All right. This piece comes loose and slides into the board. And how it's going to work is, as you're playing the game, this piece is going to sink. The boat's going to sink. Well, obviously, they're not going to be holding it up in the air. But that is one of the problems I have with the game, is that this piece does not sit flat on the board. I end up having to put things down on it and weighing it down so that it's not up in the air like this while I'm playing the game. No matter how I try to bend it and fix it, it just doesn't want to go. They should have put little tabs on the on this little piece. There's a little tab, but they should have had little side tabs to kind of hold it in place. It just kind of keeps it from moving back and forth. Also, you're going to need a very long table, because as the boat sinks, this is how long your game board can get. Alright? Very long. Usually someone ends up having to move so that we have room for this whole thing. Let me show you the rest of the stuff. Okay, at the start of the game, each player is going to receive one of these tokens. And the token is going to tell you which 3 colored mice that you're going to be basically rooting for in hopefully getting to survive the sinking ship. Okay, this is the game board setup, and how do you get the mice to survive? Well, the mice start down here, and they have to work their way up the ship to the very top of the ship. Let me show you one of these little cool little wooden mice that the game comes with. I guess they could be called mouse pulls, whatever. Anyway, no matter how many players you start with or play the game, you're going to put all the mice down at the beginning. Now, the rules don't say whether the mice should start on the one square or behind it. I've always played having them start. They're kind of like they're in the basement. They're starting the basement of the ship. They're going to work their way up. Okay, so how do the mice move? Well, that's the really cool aspect of the game. The game comes with all these dice. There's one dice here for every color mouse in the game, with the exception of this white one. Now, to start the game, one player is going to take all the dice, and they're going to roll every single one. And let's just say this is how the roll came out on the first roll. That person's going to choose one of these colored dice and move that mouse that many squares. Not squares, lines on the board. So they could choose to move the red mouse 6, the black mouse 5, the yellow one 1, the green one 2, the blue one 3, purple one, blah, blah, blah. If there's a circle on the dice, as this one here, that's a wild. No matter what color dice it is, the circle can always be any colored mouse that you would want to move. Alright, so for instance, if I really wanted to, I could move the yellow mouse 4. Now, once you decide to use one of the dice, you're going to remove that dice from this round of play. The next player is only going to have these dice to roll and choose from. So as the players are playing, they're going to keep picking dice and removing them one at a time, until eventually one person is going to get past one dice. I'll explain what that does in a second. Let me talk about the different symbols on the dice. Okay, so there's the basic symbol on the die, which just tells you how many lines the mouse is going to move forward. And if you use that die, it gets removed from the game. If it has an X next to the number, you move that colored mouse 3 spaces, but the die stays in the game. It doesn't get removed that round. As I said, the circle is a wild. This can be used for any color mouse, then gets removed from the game. There's a couple special symbols on a few of the dice. For instance, there is a anchor. If you use the anchor, this will make the yellow mouse move backwards to the next closest spot that contains another mouse. There is also, let's see if it's on here, not on the yellow one, let's see, well I know it's on the white. This symbol is the exact opposite of the anchor. If this symbol is used, you can move any mouse, since it's a circle around it, forward to the space of the next closest mouse. Now the white dice is obviously, it's a wild, so every side on the white dice can be used for any. It has an incredibly powerful 11x. This will move a mouse 11 spaces and the dice stays in the game. So sometimes it might be a good strategy to get the white die out early, especially if your mice are ahead and you don't want anybody to have a chance of catching up. Okay, so as the mice are moving along the board, they have a couple of chances, no matter what mice is being moved, and coincidentally, if this is your disc, you don't have to move those 3 mice. Those are just the 3 you're rooting for to win. You can move any mouse you want. Wow, between die and dice and mouse and mice, there's a few squares. If you land on them exactly, you can pick that token up, and you don't show anyone what it is, but it'll give you bonus points at the end of the game. These little things are huge. Okay, there's 5 spaces on the board where these are, and they're only 2s or 1s. I've seen almost every game come down to these little tokens right here. So how does the boat sink? Well, when one player gets past 1 die, that player is then going to choose from one of these tokens that are going to be face down somewhere on the table. On these tokens is a whole bunch of numbers. Depending on what that player chooses, that is how many spaces that the ship is going to sink. But in this case, the ship always sinks. Oh, bye sinking ship. The ship will sink. Bye-bye orange mouse. And the ship stops on the space that the mouse was at. Now, if perchance the 2 mice were on the same square, it would actually stop sinking at that point, and the next one of these 2 mouse that moves, that ship will sink up to that square and take that mouse out. Now, when that happens, not only is that mouseable removed from the game, but that mouseable's die is also removed from the game completely. So, the person will now take all the remaining dice that just pulled the token and killed a mouse, and we'll start again. Rolling all of these, even the green one that I just dropped on the floor. So every time a mouse gets taken out, that mouse's die gets removed from the game. So quickly, as the mouse are getting taken out, they're even going to be quicker that the ship's going to be sinking. So how does scoring work? We've got some mice that have almost made it off the ship. Yay, the red guy goes! But no. The first mouse to actually escape to the top deck of the ship, well, that mouse gets trampled. That mouse gets 0 points. So a good strategy is, perhaps if you don't have the red mouse and it's your turn, well, you can get that guy out first and he gets trampled. The mouse that gets out second will score 5 points. The third mouse gets 3. And the fourth mouse out will get 2 points. You look at your little token, and based on what color mice you had, depending on how they finished, if you had those guys, for instance, this guy would have only had the blue, he would have scored 5 points, plus maybe any bonus tokens that he was able to collect during the game. Person with the most points wins! This is an awesome little game. Every time I've played it, I've had fun. Everyone else that plays it, they have fun. It's a nice filler. You can play it in 20, 30 minutes. You can play it 2 times in a row. It's all ages enjoy it. Like I said before, even my 5-year-old daughter enjoys it. And here she is, fresh off her sledding accident yesterday. So what do you think of Companionship?
I like it. Can we play it now?
Sure, why not? Say goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining
That's
us today.
fun.
For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.